WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and you're about to go one-on-one with Talking Taker. Holla!
All right, creatures of the night, and everybody out there in the pod street crew, welcome to Talking Taker, episode number 232 of our encyclopedic exploration, dig up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time, The Undertaker. My name is Alex Dorio. I want to thank all you out there in the PSK for joining us for yet another round of Dead Man Talking. And I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner, my fellow wrestling buddy, my fellow creature of the night, my fellow bounty hunter, Mr. Travis White. And he may have a bounty out on my head this evening for making him watch the cinematic masterpiece from 1991, Suburban Commando, because that is the topic of our episode tonight. Not only is it a classic film, but it is the movie debut of our main man himself, Mark Calloway, aka The Undertaker, aka Hutch, as he is known in this movie. I'm not sure that name is ever said, but that's what he is in the credits.
Credits, yeah.
It's an episode people have been asking us to do for over 7 years now on the podcast, to talk about The Undertaker and Hulk Hogan's first meeting, which took place inside this film, inside Suburban Commando. I mean, Travis, are you still going to be my friend here after making you watch this?
Yeah, I will. This brought back a lot of nostalgia for me. I remember watching this and renting this a lot as a child. Oh, I say a lot, maybe twice a year as a kid.
And the tape?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the big old VHS.
Absolutely.
So, brought back some nostalgia, but as we walk through it and break it down, it is one of the movies of all time. I'll put it that way. It is one of the movies of all time.
If you're a completionist, you got it on VHS, you got it on DVD.
Ooh, Laserdisc.
I do not. I think it is available on Laserdisc, I would imagine.
I'm certain it is, yeah.
Starring Shelley Long and Christopher Lloyd. I mean, there's a stacked cast here in this film, dude.
Does it say Shelley Long on it?
I'm sorry, Shelley Duvall.
Oh, okay. It's like Shelley Duvall.
I always get them. I always get those names confused. Yeah, Shelley Duvall from The Shining.
What a drop off.
What a glow up, some might say.
But right,
Here's
Ramsey.
Ramsey. Christopher Lloyd went from Back to the Future to this, man.
Tonight we're going back to our past to look at this, dude. Yeah, Christopher Lloyd, brother, was 58 when he made this movie.
What?
Or I think so. I think it said 58, 53 or something like that. Yeah, way too old to be cast in the role he was cast in. He was like a mid-30s, like mid-level employee at some tech company.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. It's a little weird casting for his role, but he's one of my favorite actors, man. He still works.
Yeah.
I just watched a show with him earlier this year, a show called Hacks. He had a role on that in there. He's still great in it. Got my pin here flopping around, if you can see that.
Nice.
Commando from the video store on VHS. I mean, you said you rented this a lot as a kid, so you did have some familiarity with this and watched this back in the day.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever seen it in theater. I hope not.
Not a lot of people did.
Yeah, I think it made like $11 in the theater or something. But yeah, I didn't see it in theater, but I definitely rented it and saw it on like probably TBS or TNT or something, USA, one of those channels growing up. But yeah, I remember just kind of being enthralled with it. As a huge Star Wars nerd, there's some homages to that in here, so I think that was what kind of piqued my interest. Plus, I kind of knew Hulk Hogan was. I didn't know that Taker was Taker, at this point, but I knew who Hulk Hogan was, even though I wasn't a big wrestling fan at the time. But yeah, it was just, I rented it. I thought it was neat. It scratched that sci-fi itch in my little 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old body,
Yeah, it's definitely it feels like it's geared towards kids.
Yeah.
Very very kid friendly movie, which makes sense as to what Hulk Hogan would be making in this time period here. Released October 4th, 1991. So we're 5 years old. I mean, this is target audience, or targeted right at us.
October
Um,
4th, just 33 years later, I would release my latest album on October 4th.
See, you have a deep connection
Yeah,
here.
I do. It's a good
Um,
date.
I know I watched this as a kid, and I remember being really enthralled by the outfit
Yeah.
that Shep's got on, that crazy spacesuit, which he doesn't wear enough in the movie,
No.
in my opinion. The movie would be far better if he had that on a lot more. But I remember seeing pictures of that in the magazines, pictures of that on TV, and thinking that was such a cool outfit. So I definitely had to see the movie. But I don't remember having like strong feelings towards it. It was just one of those, watched it, not that great, so kind of skipped over it again. But as it became older, it kind of had that like sort of ironic cult following. I remember picking
Yeah.
up the DVD and watched it again probably 15 years ago, maybe more, maybe 20 years ago, and I don't remember it being like so funny or so bad it was good.
Yeah.
Then I just remember it being like, oh, I don't even enjoy watching this back then at that point. However, in the year 2024, we're gonna do a full review and give our full opinions later on, but I gotta say, man, I had a blast watching this for the podcast, and I had some genuine, like, non-ironic laughs during this movie. There were
Oh,
some
yeah.
actual funny bits, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's some things, and there's some things I laughed at, and some things I laughed at because it was just so cringe. But some
Of
things I
course,
laughed at because it was funny. But yeah, it doesn't take itself too seriously. If you take it seriously,
yes.
you're missing the point. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I actually really enjoyed about it is like it felt like they really leaned into some absurdist parts of it. And
Yes.
I don't think Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, was in on the joke. Like,
No,
I think
I
he
don't
thought
think
this
so.
was gonna be Terminator,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of other people in the cast realized it wasn't,
Yeah.
including maybe the director and the writer. And so there were, I thought, some really funny stuff in there. So
Yeah.
we'll get into all of it. We'll talk about Hutch's, aka the Undertaker's role in it and his incredible one line of dialogue, one of the most absurd moments in the film. Um, and we'll talk about all of it here on a very special, Siskel and Ebert version of Talking Taker
Ooh,
here.
yes.
We've done a few movie reviews in here. This should be fun. But before we get into it, of course, we know we got to hit our monthly session of Undertaker sightings. And it is our January episode, and what we've normally done on these January episodes is kind of run through, looks back at the previous year in the life of the Undertaker, Mark Calloway. And I do want to do that and just talk about some of the biggest moments of 2024. But there were a few sort of last minute Undertaker sightings I wanted to bring up here. He continued to make his uh, way into the conservative media landscape. I don't know if you saw this, Travis, but Taker was on every dad's favorite talk show on Fox News, Gutfeld. He was on
Oh,
the
was
panel
he?
on there for an
Oh.
episode.
Was
Uh,
Tyrus on there or
I don't know if
Brodus?
Tyrus was on that
Oh,
episode.
okay.
He might have been, yeah. But yeah, I didn't really pay attention to the clips
I
of
didn't
it,
even
but
that completely
um,
slipped under the radar for me. So
there was one clip where he was saying he has no hard feelings with Batista or Mick Foley for some of the stuff they were saying during the election time. He said, they're wrong, but I still love them. So that
you
was the
gotta have
clip that
yeah.
went out on social media that a lot of people saw.
He's
Uh,
always gonna be a wrestler. That's
oh,
wrestler
yeah,
talk
yeah,
right
yeah.
there. Yeah, it's
No.
fun. That's just poking around. So that's good stuff.
And then I posted this on some of our social media. Did you see this YouTube clip of him giving a tour of his new pool and water slide with the
Yeah,
guy who
that
built
was
it?
wild. Yeah, that was insane. I never would have thought we'd seen that in my life. So that's crazy.
The coolest water slide I've ever seen in my life, dude.
No, yeah, it was awesome.
It's like
It was
this
awesome.
chrome fixture, but and they have these elements in there to keep the chrome cool instead of like actually burning your flesh when you
Yeah.
go on it. Like it pumps the water through it. And then Taker gets on his trunks and goes for a ride down the slide.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
It's only like 3 minutes. It's worth checking out if you see it out there on YouTube. Very funny and well deserved, man. Great way to spend his money. I'm jealous
Oh
of.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
And then I want to mention, the WWE Vault continues to pump out the great content on there. Seems like every single day. But they put up a video right around Survivor Series time of behind the scenes Survivor Series moments or unreleased Survivor Series moments. And there's probably like 15, 20 years worth of footage in there. But the stuff that really got me is there's some behind the scenes rehearsal stuff from 1996 from
Ooh.
before that shark cage match. So like they're just in the ring kind of working stuff out and Paul Bear's just like riffing around and joking and it's just like stuff that was never meant to be released. They're just like
Right.
filming before the show and it's like you never thought you'd see this kind of stuff.
No,
And
that's awesome. I
and the
missed
vault's
that.
just pumping out. Yeah, you got to go check it out.
I'll go check it out. That's when he comes down as Batman, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
um they have like that same video has like them interviewing fans after the Montreal screw job and then
Ooh.
before some of these other pay-per-views, they would use a lot of that fan footage and this was a bunch of footage they didn't use mainly because people cuss in it or say something stupid
Yeah.
and the guy interviewing's like, well, can't use that, and then like goes on to the next guy. It's just like it's
Ooh.
incredible and it makes you feel kind of embarrassed to be a wrestling fan.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. That's fun. That's fun.
It is fun. It's worth checking out. So yeah, 2024, a huge year for The Undertaker. Not as many big sightings, but the ones we had of Taker were pretty massive. And I think you have to say the biggest of all was his involvement in WrestleMania 40. I mean,
Oh yeah.
who would have seen that coming? I think we guessed maybe he would have some sort of involvement in this biggest WrestleMania ever, but to
Yeah.
have that role, to
Right.
be a major part of the finish of the main event, I mean, did you see that coming? And could you believe that when it happened?
Oh no. I mean, I remember literally jumping off my couch when that the lights went down and it went dong. I jumped off the couch just freaking out. So yeah, I didn't see that part coming. Like you said, knew he'd probably be somewhat of a presence this WrestleMania 40, but didn't know it'd be Mark Calloway basically. The Undertaker outfit's gone. So he's biker Calloway Taker guy. So yeah, awesome man. And I know people we wanted Austin, blah blah blah. Nah, it was perfect. It was perfect the way it went down. We already broke that down. Not no disrespect to Austin, but just the way it would have taken away from the Cody stuff had Austin had the glass break and ride down, and it was perfect for being Taker. In and out burger, baby. Just get there, do your
Oh
thing,
yeah,
and get out. So
yeah, it's very
yeah.
short, but to the point and very effective. Shocked the world and continued his WrestleMania legacy. Even if it wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
match, it continued his impact, and it's continuing to be felt. I mean, Cody Rhodes is still the champ. The Bloodline
Mm-hmm.
storyline's still going on. The Bloodline continues to fracture, and the Undertaker played a role in that. So it's cool to see him involved in the biggest storyline in the company, even in his retirement.
For sure.
Pretty amazing. Um, we got those Bojangles cups in the year 2024, so he
Yeah,
got to be
wild.
out there in the mainstream doing that. We saw Taker out continuing. Can you make appearances in college football games like we've seen like at least twice a year? He had the belt at the Big 12 championship last year, and then he was on commentary for a Texas football game this year, and Texas is continuing on in the playoffs. They beat my Clemson Tigers. They beat the brakes off of us. So he got the win there, and we may see him down the line if they continue on in their playoff run.
Yeah, I would hate for Georgia to have to play them a third time because we beat them twice already. But so, and if we play them a third time, that'll be the time they beat us.
Of
Watch.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, the time that matters the most. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, his you know, whatever. His Texans are doing okay. So
Doing okay.
I'm done with them. We beat them twice, so move
Exactly.
on. Yeah. It's like when in wrestling when you have a guy beat a guy pay per view twice in a row. Like why do you need to, there's no need for a rubber match because
Mm,
beat him twice. So I'm trying to bring
hmm
back to wrestling.
I agree. I agree with you.
Sometimes it's cool, like Taker and Kane in 2010, and also Batista and Triple H. Sometimes
Yeah.
3 losses in a row is okay. So
But this would not be okay.
it'd be okay if we win again. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Not if the rubber, not if the third one is them winning. That's lame. Yeah,
Well, yeah, my Tigers are retired for the season, and we also saw the retirement of Sting in the year 2024. We did a whole
it's
episode dedicated to it. Did you ever get to watch that match?
Sting's retirement.
Yeah.
No, I still
Oh
haven't watched
man,
it.
you gotta make time for it, man.
I'll be
It's well
honest,
worth it.
it's not even on my radar anymore for
Ah,
stuff. I need to
yeah,
watch it. Yeah, I've just kind of stuff happens so much and so
it
fast.
does.
It's gone. It's out of sight, out of mind. So yeah, I do need to watch that sometime. So
I think it was great. It was a perfect retirement. I mean, it was as good for Sting as the Boneyard match was for the Undertaker, in my opinion. Like, I'm not going to compare which one was better, but
right.
like as perfect as that one was for Taker, I feel like this was perfect for Sting, and I just enjoyed it so much. I highly recommend it. Um, then we got to say it, a huge newsworthy moment for Undertaker. He had the former president at the time and now the future president, Donald Trump, on his podcast right
Yeah.
before the election. Again, something I don't think anyone in any universe could have possibly predicted there, but it just goes to show you his influence and his impact, not just on professional wrestling, but on the world and pop culture in general.
Yeah. Wild times. It's wild times. So I wonder if he'll be on Netflix or have anything to do with that. They're all on Netflix. They're pumping that
Aha.
up pretty big
Yeah,
in a
would
few
not be
days. So
surprised.
we'll see.
Yeah,
I
we'll
mean,
have to
people
stay.
from SmackDown are having main event matches on there, so who knows? It's just a free
Yep,
for all at this point.
they're
So,
pulling out all the stops. So would not be surprised to hear about that.
and I mean Taker, not Trump, by the way.
Hey,
Yeah,
they're pulling out all the stops, man. He's at UFC fights. He's at football games. He
it
could
is a
be at
special
Raw.
date too.
Oh,
All right, moving on
Trump, January 6th
on Netflix.
on Raw.
On Netflix. All right.
Oh my. Storming the Capitol. All right. We had an incredible year just between us, man. I got to meet our buddy Steven, Collecting Dead Man. I got to go to a wrestling show with him. I got to tour his Undertaker collection. Got to go to SummerSlam again with the crew, with Randy and Tommy and Uncle Dave. You released a brand new album, like you mentioned, October 4th,
Did.
Reconstruction. And those tunes are still out there for everybody to check out and enjoy.
They're still there. They're
Still
evergreen.
there.
They're not going anywhere.
Always there.
Till the internet shuts down.
That's right.
So
That's right. Hope people continue to check that out. Very exciting to get that from you. And can't forget, we had an incredible appearance from your dad, Sean Mooney, who joined us for a special
yes,
cameo on the show.
we did. We did. We also got to watch Night One WrestleMania together for first time
That's
in
true, man.
forever. So
Yep.
yep.
That was a blast.
It was. It was. I was gonna say in a few weeks we will be at the Royal Rumble.
Our first
So
Royal Rumble together ever.
yeah, dude.
I am pumped. Cannot wait. Like I told you before, I'm getting the outfit together. I'm taking care of that before I take care of my plane tickets. Gotta get my
Priorities.
priorities straight. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
you got to make sure the shipping, everything gets here in time.
That's true.
Yeah, you can buy plane tickets up to the last minute. Not worried about
Yeah,
that.
that's true. That's true.
But 2024, a very fun year, very exciting year, and here's to an exciting 2025 for the Undertaker and for us as well. But
Yeah, I'll get to meet some of our PSK for the first time in person, so that'll be nice.
yes, I'm
I know
excited
them
for
all
you.
digitally. I like to know I'm an analog guy, so I'd
That's
like
right.
to know them analog. So
Well, we're going to take the time traveling hearse back 34, well, 34 when this comes out, 33, 34 years to 1991, October 4th, 1991, to Suburban Commando, The Undertaker's first film role. He is. You wouldn't consider him in the same league as Batista or The Rock or John Cena or anything like that, but he has had a few acting roles, and
yeah,
this was the uh, big one for him and big one for Hulk Hogan. His follow up here to No Holds Barred. I mean, it's an interesting movie. It is this movie, which give me the one sentence plot of the movie, or maybe one or two sentences in your opinion.
mm. Space Commando breaks down. Welcome to suburban life in America.
All right.
That's the elevator pitch, I guess.
Yeah. So you
Space
got
Ranger, yeah, Space Ranger crash lands on Earth. There you go. That's
yeah,
better.
crash lands on Earth, moves in with a regular family, and then, has to rebuild his ship while chasing down some other alien bounty hunters who are trying to kill him and take over his ship.
Yeah.
And October 4th, 1991 is when this comes out. Just a few months prior to this is when Terminator 2 Judgment Day came out. So
Oh my.
these movies exist in the same timeline, like
That's crazy.
within months of each other. And I'm not saying like every movie needs to live up to
Right.
that sort of movie. Like there's room to have big budget movies and lower budget movies, but like the way this movie starts out, this opening scene that we see with Shep Ramsey, aka Hulk Hogan, which is an insane name for this character. Um,
Yeah. I thought he said Chef Ramsay, and I was like, Gordon Ramsay got his name from Suburban Commando?
yes, Chef.
Yes. Yes.
Shep.
Ramsay.
He's supposed to be this super cool hero, and his name
Yeah.
is Shep.
Yeah. But I will say, Boba Fett is a dumb name, but Boba Fett's one of the coolest guys in Star Wars. So,
Great point. It's all about how you pull it off.
exactly. And yeah, rest my case.
Well, this opening scene, dude, it looks like an SNL sketch that's supposed to be like a Star Trek parody. Like that's the level of budget that this like cardboard space ship thing. It looks so hilarious. And I think that's why this movie just doesn't work from the start, is because this movie looks like it's from 1979, but it's in the
Yeah.
theaters at the same time as Terminator 2, which is like one of the most innovative, groundbreaking special effects movies of
Oh,
all time,
yeah,
dude.
you have T1000 or T1000, T100. What's his name?
T1000. Yeah, yeah.
T1000. Yeah, all liquidy and stuff, and this is great effects, and the metal eye of Schwarzenegger underneath his flesh and stuff. But meanwhile, with this, like you said, it opens up with almost looking like it's very Captain Kirk, Star Trek, like graphics, but it's also the exact opening of Star Wars: A New Hope, with the
Yeah, yeah.
over like coming underneath like this is the Star Destroyer or whatever, which is one of the most iconic openings of all time. It's literally like shot for shot the same thing. You have the thing going on over the camera and little like TIE fighters or whatever shooting around, and even like the triple engines at the back that are just like the Star Wars opening. I was just like, huh, that's interesting. Like, was that supposed to be a? Okay, my dog is burying my cat in a plastic bag right now.
Uh-oh.
Okay, then he
Go
got
check
out.
on that.
Buried alive match. Having a buried alive match
In the living room.
Yeah, they know what's going on. They know what's going on. Sorry, but yeah, I was like, is that supposed to be? Are we supposed to not notice that, or it was like Spaceballs? It felt like Spaceballs. Like Spaceballs was tongue in cheek. We know what you're doing. We're in on the joke here. They're in on the joke. This, I was like, okay, we're opening up with the exact open of Star Wars, from '77, which is 14 years before this. And but we're supposed to take this seriously or not? I just didn't know. The
I don't know
tone was
either.
off.
The tone is very odd,
And then they
and
literally say Darth Vader later on.
they
They
do.
say, yeah. So that's in the same, exists in the
It's in
same.
the same cinematic universe here.
Yeah. So
Well, some type of evil emperor who is Emperor Suitor. That's his name, right?
yeah,
He is taking another president of another planet, I guess, hostage here, trying to destroy their planet. And that's where we get introduced to Chef Ramsay. Chef Ramsay,
yeah,
take your pick here. Who's gonna come and save the day here?
yeah.
Um,
Ship.
and we get a pun right out of the gate, man, as he picks this guy up and it's like going up, going down, and sends him up some elevator shaft.
Yeah,
Man.
just yeets him up. Elevator shafts are big deal in this
Big
movie.
deal in this movie.
Lot of stuff going on
Big
in the
movie for
elevator.
elevators.
Yeah, we could play Aerosmith. Loving an elevator. So we'll leave
No,
the
they
rest
can't
on the cutting
afford.
room floor.
They can't afford that for this movie.
Oh, you're right. They have some special music.
They have some incredible music.
Instead. So
well, I don't understand what Shep does here because he's trying to save the president of this one planet, and what he ends up doing is he blows up the entire ship, and he thinks he kills Emperor Suitor, but
yeah.
he also doesn't he also kill the guy he's trying to save when he
Right?
blows up the ship and runs
thought.
away?
Yeah.
Did you get that?
I thought the same thing. I was like, okay, so he just killed everybody but himself.
Yeah.
Even the guy he was trying to quote unquote save. So
Yeah.
because he the whole Star Destroyer thing explodes and he like fumbles away in a little like escape pod type thing.
Right.
Which also Star Wars, A New Hope, the droids escape Star Destroyer in that. So anyway, I was just like, come on now.
I don't think it's supposed to be an homage. I think they're just just ripping
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think it's supposed to be a tribute.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shep gets away, but I guess his ship gets damaged or something.
Oh, he has a FaceTime.
He FaceTime with his boss.
Somebody, and then he like hits he bashes his fist on like the dashboard,
right,
and it causes irreparable damage. he hits it so hard that he basically knocks his engine out, and so his boss, boss Nass or whoever his name is, he tells him to go go rest for 6 weeks and do something. Find something to do for 6 weeks because you got to get to 0.001% of your booster bag or something. He's like 0.001%. I'll never do that. Like it's just oh man, it's terrible.
It sounds like Homer Simpson wrote the plot of this movie. Like everything about it.
Drunk on Duff beer.
And so
Hogan is our age in this, by the way. He's 38. He's 38 years old.
I don't know what that says about us. I'm not sure.
He looks 58. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, from the waist down or from the head down, he looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know about from the waist down. I don't know. That's a different Hulk Hogan movie.
Yeah. You can also find that at stores in the back room.
Well, yeah, he has to go land on Earth to Earthlings. I hate Earthlings. I don't understand what his job is. I don't understand what he's like some international space James Bond
cosmonaut
or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. But he hates Earthlings, but that's where that's the closest planet for him to go recharge the spaceship.
And what did they say where he landed? I don't remember them saying the city. It was just
Suburbia.
Like,
I guess.
Isn't that
in the burbs?
I was thinking Disturbia. Yeah, Suburbia. Yeah, somewhere in the burbs. He's rocking the suburbs. That's all we know. So,
well, I wish
rocking the suburbs.
I wish that was the theme song that we
got. But
instead, we get Hulk Hogan rapping.
Eat that, Macho Man. Eat your heart out. He rapped first.
Hogan nice place to live, but I wouldn't want to visit. I could not believe my ears. I had no memory of
me neither. I was
musical
like,
accompaniment.
yeah, I was like, that's Hogan. I was like, that's
Right.
Hogan singing.
I had to pause it and look it up and confirm that's what I was hearing.
Oh, it was awful. It was
Oh,
so good
it
though.
was wonderful. It was a
Yeah,
treat. I think Hogan thought he was going to win the Oscar for acting, and then also for best original song, and
Grammy
then yeah, get the Grammy. He was going to get halfway to
is
the
also a
EGOT.
producer. Yeah,
Oh shit! There you go, man.
yeah.
He thought this was it, man.
He
Um,
got for his ego.
well, of course, he's going to end up with Christopher Lloyd and Shelley Duvall here, and you said it, man. Christopher Lloyd. Um, when I think Christopher Lloyd, obviously I think of Doc Brown. I think of Back to the
Yeah,
Future. But I mean, I just generally think of him as playing like kind of like eccentric, like over the top kind of character. And here he's playing just like the most milquetoast, bland, um, you know, just office working drone guy who, is not satisfying his wife, bad dad to his kids. It's a weird role for
yeah, it
Christopher
was.
Lloyd. Didn't you think so?
Oh yeah, I thought so too. And you don't want to typecast people, but it's like he has so much charisma in other things. Like it's weird to put him in this role. Completely strange casting.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's in his mid to late 50s at this point too,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Also, that means he's in his mid to late 80s right now
Oh,
in
he
real
is.
life,
Yeah, for
which is
sure.
crazy
Yeah.
to think about. But yeah, he's always wasn't he in Page Master?
Oh, I think so.
Was
Yeah.
that Christopher Lloyd? Yeah, but he's
I
always
haven't
he's
thought of that
always
movie in a long time.
oh, I love that movie. But he's always like yeah, he's always that same type of character, and you see him it's just weird. It was just weird. But it wasn't like, oh, I'm a comedian trying to take it serious for like Will Ferrell going for Stranger Than Fiction, or like Adam Sandler doing like Love Reign Over Me. It wasn't like an acting
No.
move like this is my new direction. It was just like, all right, I'm taking this paycheck, I guess. I don't know what happened. Did Back to the Future
But
3 flop or something? I don't know.
maybe. I mean, he does his best in it. Like, I
Yeah,
think
he's fine.
yeah, he's fine. And Shelley Duvall is good. And, they've got these kids in here. But,
Kid
yeah,
one and kid two. I mean, they don't
basically, they don't
yeah.
do much.
No.
But Christopher Lloyd, I didn't even write his character's name down. I just call him Christopher Lloyd the whole time in my notes.
His what was his name? Clementine. I don't know what his name
Clem
was.
Snide, he's like an architect basically, and his boss is my one of my two favorite characters in the movie, played by this actor named Larry Miller, who is
Yeah,
in
he's always the same guy in every movie,
always the
in every
same guy.
show. Larry Miller is the
10
same.
Things I Hate About You. He's in Princess Diaries.
You
He's in a
guys will
bunch of
know him when you see
stuff.
him.
Yeah, bald, like horseshoe hair, like just kind
Looks
of
like
fast talking
Costanza.
boss.
Yeah.
I read that he auditioned for that. He's friends
Oh,
with Jerry
really? I believe
Seinfeld.
that. I believe that.
Dude, I don't. I have a feeling like he improved half his lines in here. Like
Yeah, without question.
he's great. He's perfect
Yeah.
in this role. Just basically trying to steal all of Christopher Lloyd's ideas, and he's hilarious. I
Yeah.
enjoyed him the whole time he was on screen.
No, he was great. Him with the Chinese bureaucrats from overseas
Japanese,
or
I think that.
Japanese. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, yeah, Japanese. It's great. It's fantastic. Yeah, I think a lot of it was improv.
the scene at the end where he has to he's like stalling with them before Christopher Lloyd can get there, and he has to finally reveal the plans. He's like, well, we're gonna start with floors. You're always
Yeah,
gonna want floors, and then with floors, you gotta have walls.
yeah.
Like, I love
Let's
that.
start with the floors. Gonna have a ceiling too, and then I think to hold those things up, you're gonna have more walls. I was like, yeah, that's perfect, and that is exactly something that happens. That's dumb stuff that happens in a boardroom in corporate America still
Exactly.
today.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he doesn't fire Christopher Lloyd here, but Christopher Lloyd's like trying to ask for a raise, and he's like too shy to do it, too scared to do it, and gets put all this extra workload on him. So he's gonna go home frustrated for all of that. Um, Meanwhile, Shep is gonna crash land in his little cardboard box of a ship into some kind of um, all male
Warehouse.
bar or something. Like, I don't know,
Oh
man.
yeah, yeah,
He's in some sort of weird club. Um, I enjoyed seeing all the cars in this movie
oh
from
yeah.
1991, man. That was a trip.
But what's with the scene with like them all racing to the red light and like
Yes.
And it's literally when they do it twice, it's the same exact footage. It's not
Oh,
even like
and
hidden or like reversed or flipped. It's the same exact footage later, and it pays off
it's
later
called
on.
back the very
Yeah,
last scene
yeah,
of the movie. It's very
yeah,
important.
yeah. It pays off. But I was just like, what is like? It's terrible.
It's supposed to show like Christopher Lloyd again is just like this weak little
Yeah,
cuck of a guy, and they're trying to race him in his little Geo or whatever he's
yeah.
got there. And
Like
yeah,
grandma's beating with a red light.
exactly. Um, then I wrote again. The soundtrack continues to deliver here. Now it's like this bizarre kind of Jimmy Buffett calypso music that gets played throughout the movie. Makes no sense. Um,
Must
and
have
then
been whatever was left, like in the how movie studios just have rights to certain songs and
yeah,
they had to like use them or else they lose them or whatever. They probably just had that. They're like, what can we use here?
well, then this is like straight out of Terminator right here. Is that he's gonna
Mm.
walk through town? He's getting all the looks in his weird space suit. Yeah, he walks by this beautiful RC Cola vending machine that gave
This
me all
lady's
the
like, give me
feels.
my money, give me my money, and he like so dramatic. He walks up, like, excuse me, ma'am, and just punches it, and the most changed that's ever changed falls out, and not just the lady, but like teenagers, kids, adults, dads, people are stomping over themselves to come get this change as if they're in some kind of recession in 1990. I don't know why everyone was pining for the change, but it was like
You
so
would do it
much.
if there was free
If I was
change.
a child, yeah, but there was like adult people in there like stomping over each other for some change. So, yeah,
Well, the nightlife in this city is very wild, as we'll see in future scenes as well. Um,
yeah.
uh,
It, that scene later on reminds me of something from Jerry Trimble. Live by the fist, baby.
um, Hulk also he saves a dog from a hot car being locked in there.
Dog has a muzzle on
Mhm.
in the car. His
In the
name's like
car.
Larry or something, and his owner is sitting there outside
Hmm.
at like this little, looks like a nice little like diner, like little kitschy, suburban place. And this dude came from under a bridge, like and is eating there. And he doesn't fit the aesthetic of the place at all. And
Not
he's
at
like,
all.
"Shut up, Larry!" Like his dog is barking in the hot sun. And so then all you see is Hulk walk up to him, or Shep, excuse me, walk up to him. The next thing you know, the scene cuts. It comes back. Shep has on that man's clothes, which means in broad daylight, he stripped a man naked, put him in his car, and put a muzzle over his face, and the dog is sitting there eating the food now. So
Yep.
a little bit of wink, wink, funny, cute '90s stuff. But I was like, this is a nude man in his car with a muzzle on his face.
I
That
think he had
sends a
his
lot
underwear on.
different.
I think Hulk was free balling.
That sends a lot different
It
message.
does.
But
But that's straight out of Terminator too. Like
it
when he
is.
comes down to the earth and he's naked and he goes into the bar and beats the guys up, gets their clothes.
Oh, speaking of, I wanted to call back to when he's talking to his boss on FaceTime. He's like, and I would like to go back and listen because he asked him three questions like, is there any something I can go beat up? And one thing he says, you don't got any aliens that have like acid for blood or something like that. And I was like, I see that, a little wink and nod at alien or
Exactly.
aliens. But I wonder, I should have rewound it and seen and remember what the first two things he asked because I bet they were something about
There's probably
Terminator or
other movies.
something like that. Yeah, it was probably all
Yeah.
a wink and a nod to those. So anyway, continue.
Well, he sees this sign rent for an apartment for rent, and
What's his sign say?
I didn't write down exactly what he said because I wrote down, can he even read English? Like, how does he know what it says?
All
But
right, yeah.
what did it say?
It just says apartment for rent. And he walks by. It's on a telephone pole. He walks by. He comes back. It's a double take. Rips it off. It has no other information, just apartment rent, and it has an arrow pointing up the street. He rips it off as if there's more information on there to help him get to where he wants to go. And then he walks up the direction of the arrow that was pointing. And then when he gets to their house, he's like, I'm here for the apartment. Like,
How does he know?
All the paper said was apartment for rent. It didn't give an address, a phone number, destination, nothing. I was just like, oh, I couldn't take that part. I was like, oh man, that was
Well,
so awful.
it's Christopher Lloyd's garage,
Yeah, it turns out, yeah.
yeah, that Shelley Duvall has turned into an apartment overnight,
Well,
apparently.
that day while he's at work trying to get a
Yes,
raise.
exactly.
You
She's
see him
already
in the
turned it into an
shop
apartment.
the day before, and then the next day it is a complete restructured. This dude's going to get a raise, so they can't make ends meet, and she's redoing the Airbnb with all brand new stuff. I was like, the mental leaps you're making me take
Right.
are killing me. Yeah.
Well, this movie takes place, I think, across 3 days. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say the same exact thing.
which is insane.
Yeah, it's a 3-day movie.
The amount of things that happen here.
Yeah,
Um,
and the bond they make.
yes, the lifelong friendship they make. Um, I love. We skipped over as he's walking up the street to the apartment, the neighborhood that he walks through. This is where I see my favorite character in the whole movie is the crazy army veteran who's in a tank in the front yard of his house, yelling at Christopher Lloyd as he walks through the neighborhood. And this is when I really started to enjoy the movie. This is when I was like, is this movie actually a masterpiece? Like, what is this guy doing? This is now we're getting into like, like a Happy Gilmore, like Billy Madison territory
It's
here
like
with
a
all these
guy from
side
King of the
characters.
Hill. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Like a neighbor from King of the Hill or something. But yeah, it's just like this old army vet sitting there drinking some whiskey on the front lawn in like a tank. And like Christopher Lloyd gets out of his car and almost gets hit by somebody. Like a
Yeah.
Trans Am comes speeding down. And then there's all these hot rods parked on both sides of in front of his own house. And they're like, hey, scram! Park on your own side of the street. And it's just like, it's so cheesy.
It's
I love
so bizarre. Yeah. Well, Shep shows up to the door here and he wants the apartment. And I don't know how he has any money for the apartment. Maybe he got it
so
from
many
another
questions.
RC Cola machine or something. Yeah.
Maybe got it from the muzzle face.
Well,
we took his money
they let him in. Not only do they let him in, but he's invited to dinner the first night,
immediately. No background check.
Nope. He's just sitting there eating them out of house and home on that first night. He explains his odd nature as he's from France.
Yeah.
That's how
Where are you from? France. Okay, cool. No. Yeah.
And he goes to the apartment and he's, unloading all his space guns and space suit. And Christopher Lloyd is kind of spying on him. And he's like, oh, what's going on there? He sees all of that. And Christopher Lloyd sneaks in and turns on one of his lasers and blasts it through a wall at one of those race cars that's out there on the street. But unfortunately, that blast of that laser gun is going to send up a little radar up to the sky, a little sensor that's going to go off with the evil aliens on another planet that are searching for Shep Ramsey to look for revenge. And that is where we're going to see our first appearance of our boy Hutch, a.k.a. The Undertaker here.
Yeah, because I kept waiting, like, when does he show up? When does he show up? And then because I've forgotten the plot of the movie, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
And then I saw him there, him and who's the other guy with him?
His name is Knuckles, and
yeah.
But I wrote Jerry Flynn in my notes.
Yeah, I was going to say, looks like Jerry Flynn from WCW Nitro fame.
Yeah,
one of my favorite wrestlers in the '90s.
Sure.
So yeah, Jerry Flynn looking guy. He looks like a generic bad guy from a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. That's what he looks like.
He might have been in some.
He might, yeah.
I looked him up. He's just played that role a bunch of times.
I could guarantee that's the only role he's ever played is that. But yeah, it's him and the old Texas Red, the Undertaker. There.
Big mullet, looking great here. Their boss gives them a mugshot of Shep Ramsey, and Taker looks at it, crumbles it up, and throws it away, which I thought was maybe not that smart. Like, why not just hold on to it in case you don't remember what he looks like when you get to Earth? Like, there's no reason why you can't keep that.
Well, he's so distinguished. He's not going to forget, I guess. That Fu Manchu and that long blonde hair.
I mean, that is true.
Hulk's hair was really long in this. It was like past his shoulders. Long. Yeah. It was real long. I don't remember it being that long with him wrestling, but I guess it was.
Well, Christopher Lloyd is not really that shocked about it. He's kind of taking this awfully calmly as Shep is like working out with some insane equipment out in the yard.
Yeah, he's basically bench pressing 2 cars, essentially, like the weight of that. So,
but we keep seeing him get into these misunderstandings. He doesn't understand what's going on Earth. Like he hears Shelley Duvall
Yeah.
screaming at the TV, and he runs in to try to save her. Then
It's classic fish out of water stuff.
he nearly murders the mailman and the paperboy. And
He yeets the paper boy. I mean, and knocks him into a bush. But it's funny because like all of a sudden he has like Zubaz and workout shirts inside.
Where did that come from?
I have so many questions.
Yeah, was he continuing to steal clothes from people?
Right, yeah. How many naked people are there on the side of the road in suburbia?
I wish we would have seen that. Just random people
This
without
guy's-
clothes on.
Yeah.
Um,
Has he run into the mime yet?
oh, we're not there yet.
Okay.
He saves the son from some bullies, and they try to get him to skateboard, and he takes this giant back bump trying to fly off a skateboard. And that's where Colonel Dusty comes back and makes fun of Shep for his piss ass form, and he introduces
the neighbor, yeah.
the neighbor guy, and Shep introduces himself with his military connections, and the Colonel's like, oh, things sure have changed since '44. I laughed, man. That's a good line. It's a good bit.
Oh. And that skateboard, by the way, goes out into orbit.
Yes,
So,
it does.
We're gonna see it later.
We see it later on.
Yeah, that is quite a boot. That's quite a kickflip. Tony Hawk's got nothing on Shep Ramsey.
Hulk Hogan 360. He gets some big advice. He shares some whiskey with the Colonel, and the Colonel gives him a line that's going to come into play later on as he tells him, sometimes you got to lose to win, which is advice Hulk Hogan usually would not play by.
I was going to say, he never really played well with that advice, did he?
It doesn't work for me, brother.
Exactly. That'd have been funny if he said that. Doesn't work for me, brother. Winks at the camera. Sometimes you gotta lose to win. Yeah, how apropos to say that to Hulk Hogan.
Exactly.
Yeah, early 90s.
He learned nothing from it.
Yeah. This is definitely not art imitating life.
No, it's not.
So, yeah.
You talked about those race cars coming up through the street. We get another scene with them, and they get in Shep's face. Shep like lips up their car, and he asks, "What are they going to do about it?" And they say, "It's the '90s. We're just going to sue you." Instead of fighting with him.
Yeah.
I laughed. Like, that's a funny joke. I like it. I
Oh.
appreciate it. He flips over another car. I mean, he's just like tearing stuff up, man.
Yeah.
But this is where I wrote down like something's becoming clear to me in this movie is that the Hulk Hogan we know, like these intense, charismatic, over the top promos and everything. And I felt like in this movie, he's just so kind of monotone,
Robotic.
one note, and yeah, like low key, and like that's not what you want out of Hulk Hogan
Yeah.
in a movie. Did you feel like he was kind of underselling all of his lines in this movie?
Oh yeah. It felt like the whole movie was just the audition or the read through, like where you're just sitting at a table and reading the script, like with no emotion, you're just reading it literally. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here? But he's an executive producer, so he can do what he wants to do. So
I guess so. But yeah, it just doesn't translate from what you would see on TV every week.
No.
I think that's why this movie kind of was a dud. So like we said, this is less than 24 hours after he's moved in, but he returns home that night and the family has baked him a cake out of appreciation for everything he's done for them that day.
yeah, in a day, all in a day's work.
And they want to take a family portrait with him.
Jeez. It's just this plot, man. I got to take myself out of being 38 and remember I was 6 when this came, or 5 when it came out.
Right. Well, whatever the plot is, I'm not even sure what the plot is at this point. It's just him kind of exploring an adventure, and he's going to go out for this midnight jog after this, and we get to see the nightlife in this city.
Is this when he comes across Bebop and Rocksteady and the girl?
He does. Yeah, he sees he goes by a talking car alarm at one point.
Yes.
and destroys that. And then
that was a funny scene.
That was a funny scene.
It was
and then
almost like Kit from Knight Rider. Like talked to him, and then he just basically destroys the voice box of it. Yeah. So.
And the voice was like, no, wait.
Stop. Yeah. Yeah. That was funny.
And then this is where he runs into the mime for the first time.
Oh, yes, the mime.
Favorite running gag of the movie.
I don't remember what was the mime doing the first time?
He was doing the force
in the box thing. Yeah, like he's like, "Here, I'll help you out," and it just
punches him in the face.
The mime just like it's just the best running gag because it comes back 2 more times. So.
Well, I love it because it is it's clearly the nighttime. Like it's at least like 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, what's the mime
and there's just
now?
a mime out there just doing street work in this city. It's not very crowded or anything. He's just doing street work in the middle of the night.
Hey, mom's got a mime.
I guess so.
Doing that. Someone's gonna do the graveyard mime shift. You don't think about that.
No,
you
you
always
don't.
think about that day shift.
Yeah,
second shift.
That's tough.
Somebody's working at third string.
That's tough, man.
Graveyard. Who's got the graveyard mime shift this week?
You got to pay your dues.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this is where he's going to go check on his spaceship. Christopher Lloyd is following him to the ship, and Shep leaves because the ship is still not charging, very slow charger, and Christopher Lloyd's going to explore the ship, try the suit on, and your friends, I don't know, the bullies, the
best at Bebop from Rocksteady from Ninja Turtles. Yeah,
they're going
to
come in.
Guys, they reminded me of the bully guys from any 80s Van Damme movie or something, but remind me of the guys from Power Rangers. What were those guys' names?
Vulcan Skull?
Vulcan Skull, yeah. But they have this woman. I don't know if she's a woman of the night. Could be. It's questionable. They're in this dark alley with like a raging fire in a little trash can. And they're like, "Come on, like, wait till you see what we're gonna do with you," and all this. Very risque.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was like I was like, "Where's this going?" Because again, PG movies back then had some hard stuff in them. So.
And they are not going to do something PG with this one. Clearly,
no, they were not. They were gonna make that Hulk Hogan tape with her. So I was like, "What's going on here?" And then old Christopher Lloyd interjects.
He saves the day in his Suburban Commando suit here, and he's
going commando.
He steps out boldly, and he actually gets shot. He basically does like a Ric Flair cell because he doesn't do anything for a minute, and then he just flops. Yeah. He's basically taunting them, saying that he's standing up to them, and they're like, "Okay, is that bulletproof?" And he shoots him. And then, about 5 seconds later, he falls over. So, but how does he redeem himself and get up?
Does a kip up, doesn't he, or something? No, a backflip.
He does the worm.
Oh yeah. That's right. He hits the button on the thing. It like flips him over backwards, and he does the worm. This is Sky Too Hottie. Just a little bit, and then he pops back up.
Oh my gosh! I lost my mind at this.
Yeah, that was wild. God, I forgot that was right there. So, yeah.
Well, and the lady he saves offers Christopher Lloyd anything he wants as a reward.
Yeah.
And his codpiece starts lighting up when she says that, dude.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I know. I was like, what's going on with this movie at this point, man? I don't know what's happening. Yeah, it was weird. He's like, excuse me. And his loincloth is lighting up. It's registering. So it was something. It's like they wanted to push the envelope for like Robin Hood Men in Tights type stuff, and then they pulled it back a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is. It doesn't fully commit to being one thing or another.
No,
and that's again why it doesn't totally work. And I'm saying there's lots of stuff I enjoyed, but yeah, it's all over the place.
Mm-hmm. The tone is just questionable. I don't know where the tone is.
Meanwhile, Shep has gone to an arcade where the son is there playing a video game, and Shep thinks he's actually fighting a real alien, and he comes in there and he's shows him how to do everything. Yeah. And the machine actually waves a white flag. It comes out of the back of the machine. It's so stupid.
He's like, come on. He's like, he's pressing the button so hard. and killing the alien so much
Give it
that
up, Dragos. Give it up, Dragos. Give it up,
that it
Dragos.
fries the machine. Which I was like, is that an Ivan Drago reference
I
to
don't know.
Rocky? I don't
Maybe it
know.
was.
But yeah, it's he fries the machine, and then the white flag comes out. Like, am I supposed to be laughing, or am I supposed to take it seriously? I don't
I
know.
think so.
It's fun.
We do get another shot of Undertaker and Jerry Flynn in their cockroach spaceship. Man.
Yeah,
What is
some
that thing?
Starship Troopers, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was wild.
they're
Now
honing in
that's
on
a good
Earth.
space movie.
Yeah, doesn't not on this level, but
Oh,
they see the skateboard flying up into the air, and they're getting directed into Hulk signals again because Christopher Lloyd was in the spacesuit again, and it shot off another tracking signal when he had it
yeah.
turned on there. So that's going to lead them there to Earth. The next day, again, we're on day 2 at this point. Shep is in new clothes again somehow,
Mm-hmm.
going for a walk again, exploring the city. This time he rescues a girl's cat out of a tree. Do you know who that little girl was?
No, who is that?
Elizabeth Moss from The Handmaid's Tale and Mad Men.
Really? Wow.
Her very first role ever.
Oh, interesting. Wow. How about that?
Yep. This
Neato,
movie
gang.
created stars.
It
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
It did. Yeah, he pulls the tree down. She's like, that's not my cat. So he just lets it go and
Flings
cat
it.
just flies across.
Squeezes a melon in front of a grandma's face, who's trying to explain to him how to find some ripe melons, and just he thinks he's like, "Oh, this one's great," and just brushes it right in front of
There's a
his
melon
face.
all over Granny's face. Yeah.
Runs into his buddy the mime again, and
Yeah. I'll help you. Does something that I think he throws the mime on top of something and he falls off or something.
he
Yeah.
has a third run in with him later on. And he goes to his ship. He realizes Charlie's messed with his stuff, or Christopher Lloyd, Charlie, he's messed with his stuff. So he goes to the office to confront
we were
him.
back in Vietnam. Sorry. That Jesse Ventura from SRS main events in my head. So when you said Charlie, I immediately had some Predator PTSD. Sorry.
How great was Jesse though?
The best.
Oh,
I
so
can't
good.
wait for him again. Come back in into January. So another Saturday Night's main event.
Yeah, he hadn't missed a beat.
No. He has missed the product, but he hasn't missed the beat.
Maybe a little bit.
But he's great. He
He'll
just
be
calls it
fine.
like it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
awesome. So Shep shows up at the office there, and he like shoves Christopher Lloyd up against the wall, and his secretary, Margie, pulls out a pistol.
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's late 80s, early 90s, man. It's gang warfare. So she just pulls a pistol out.
She was packing.
She was.
So they have to sit outside and
time out.
Yeah, they talk things out, and they return to the site of that crime that Christopher Lloyd witnessed the other night, but the suit is gone. But thankfully, Shep has a tracking device for it. And Christopher Lloyd says, "Why didn't you use that in the first place?" And Shep says, "Shut up."
Yeah, exactly. As I was thinking it, he pulls it out, and I was like, good on the writers for like being like, yeah, this was kind of just a plot point. So Hogan's like, just shut up. Yeah, it's great. Because he pulls it out, and these two little like wings come out of it, and it like flutters like this, and they're trying to track his little gun or whatever. So yeah, it's great.
Did that look familiar to you? The tracking device?
Yeah, it looked like. So what was that toy? What was that?
It is the exact same prop from Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay.
PKE meter. They reused the same prop for this movie.
Wow. See, yeah, I knew it looked like something from the 80s.
Yeah. So they track it down, and apparently those two criminals from the other night have gone back to get the suit, and they have used it to rob a bank. And apparently the suit has superpowers to freeze people, temporarily freeze people. So they have freeze some cops and a whole bank of customers to freeze the bank. And this is where the soundtrack gives us a beautiful version of Jingle Bells.
Christmas movie. This is
Suburban
officially
Commando
a Christmas movie.
is a Christmas movie,
Yeah.
man. I had no idea.
Well, I heard that as I was watching. I was like, did he know? Is that why he wanted to do this for December?
I
And I was
didn't.
like, I don't think he did. And so I Googled like Suburban Commando Christmas movie, and like I saw no discussion about it. I'm like, okay, it is. It's official.
We're laying it down here,
Yeah,
folks.
it is.
Add it to the rotation every year
Mm-hmm.
because it plays a second time. We get
Yeah.
two beats of Jingle Bells in this movie. So
Mm-hmm.
just
But yeah,
saying.
the people are frozen, and it's funny because like they're just people standing still. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's great. But he's like, yeah, they'll wake up in a few minutes with a massive headache. So
um yeah, I felt sorry. Someone who's been an extra on a movie, I just thought it was hilarious. All these people paid extras there, just like, paid to stand still and like have
yeah,
this makeup on. It was pretty funny. Um, well, of course, Shep and Christopher Lloyd are going to get in a fight with the two gangsters, and they're going to actually pull the freezer gun and shoot it at Shep. And then, in the most Hulk Hogan move of all time, as he's getting hit with the freezer gun, he just hooks up basically and pulls out a bottle of antifreeze and drinks that. It doesn't let this affect him at all, dude. Like
he knows sells the freeze ray.
Hulk Hogan put that in the script
Oh
himself, dude.
yeah. He drinks it. He looks at the camera directly and goes antifreeze, and then just runs at it. Like it was the most like it reminded me of all those Schwarzenegger puns from Batman and Robin, or was it Batman?
Oh, yeah.
Batman and Robin. It reminded me of that. There were a lot of little one-liners and stuff like that were great. So yeah, he drinks antifreeze. That's okay.
He just happened to have it with him too.
Yeah, right. So many questions. Why is that in his fanny pack?
Right.
I don't know.
Why did he not have a fanny pack on this whole time?
Right? Because he had Zubaz on later
He
and
did.
stuff. So yeah. Oh man.
Oh.
It's so good.
But in the midst of all this, Knuckles and Hutch have made it to Earth, and they're in the bank now. But Hulk Hogan is able to get away quick. He locks them in the bank vault for a second, and him and Christopher Lloyd are able to escape. Christopher Lloyd has been frozen in the midst of this, so Shep drives down the highway with frozen Christopher Lloyd standing up out the sunroof. How do you not love this movie?
That was my favorite part of the whole movie.
That was great.
Because he's kind of like leaning over, and Hogan would push him back. He's leaning over, he's sticking out on top of his car, just frozen, running down the highway.
That's a masterpiece.
It was great.
And Shep and Christopher Lloyd end up back at the ship, and Shep is trying to explain to Christopher Lloyd where the bad guys are from.
The bounty hunters.
The bounty hunters, they have stolen a car now and are at the Surfer Burger drive-through, where they get congratulated for being a newlywed couple.
Yeah, and then they just blast the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Shep is trying to fix up the shit, but it just like kind of blows up in his face. So he says they're going to have to fight. He's going to let Christopher Lloyd wear the suit and said, "You can take 2 direct hits. You'll be fine."
That's all the life he has on it? 2 direct hits?
That's all the life he has on it.
Yeah.
And
there's like a meter?
I guess.
Like a video game?
They must. Well, they try to have like this emotional argument that makes no sense. It's insane that Christopher Lloyd ends with maybe the line of the movie, "I was frozen today."
Yeah. Dead serious.
Yeah.
I was frozen today. Yeah,
Only
great.
Christopher Lloyd could deliver that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's perfect.
Hulk says, "All right, we'll just go our separate ways as soon as I can find 40 pounds of simian crystal." Yeah.
As luck would have it, Kevin O'Leary or whatever the guy's name was from earlier,
Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful, he has exactly that amount in at the office that he's trying to sell to these Japanese or use to woo these investors. I don't know what the deal is. It's a plot point, but he has them. He has them. He has them there. They know exactly. So when he says that, And is it simian crystal something we know about? Is that a real thing?
I don't think
Because
it's ever
simian
been
is
referenced at any point.
well, simian is an adjective for like monkey. Like that's like
Right.
a
That's what
adjective for monkeys and stuff. So I was like expecting to see him in the shape of a monkey or something. I had no idea. So I thought he maybe said cinnamon crystals, like it's some kind of breakfast food, some failed break Hulk Hogan breakfast food, cinnamon crystals.
Well, Christopher Lloyd also says belts. Like that's his response when Shep says that, and I'm like, what does that have to do with belts? And apparently that's his boss's name. Like we're
Oh,
supposed to remember what his
yeah.
boss's name is, but he has
No.
this epiphany. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. Well, they go back to the office.
Because they have the X-ray goggles. They can see through things.
They have X-ray goggles. Again,
He says
if you
X-ray
haven't
glasses.
seen this
They're
movie
clearly
and you're
goggles.
just listening to this makes no sense.
Yeah.
We just
It
keep
sounds like we're
we just
high.
keep adding more stuff onto the pile here.
Sounds like
we've
weird
missed stuff.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, I'm trying to tie all this together here. They break into the office, or they go into the office. This big party with the investors is happening. Again, it's been 48 hours since we began the plot of this movie at this point. They go to steal these crystals to power up Shep's ship. Margie is there with her pistol. I guess she was gonna try to steal the crystals at this point.
Yeah, I didn't really understand. She walks in like I thought she was like on the side with the bounty hunters at this point. I thought she had been like in cahoots with them or something. Because I'm like, what is she doing here with a pistol again? And why does she want these crystals? Yeah, I
think she just wanted to steal them to get rich or something.
I was thrown for a loop at this plot point.
And then Taker and Jerry Flynn show up, and but Shep just like he grabs some cane or a pipe or something and hits him with it and says, "Tag, you're it," which is not really a joke that makes sense. I don't even know if it's a joke. It's a weird pun.
I'm laughing. It's good.
It must have been.
Oh.
Jerry Flynn grabs the pipe.
It's rebar, yeah. And he
bends it. Then he gives it to Taker, who straightens it. And then he just hands it back to Hogan.
Hogan bends it into the shape of like our Easter bunny.
A bunny.
He lifts it up. It's in like the shape of a bunny. He just hands it to Taker.
Hands it back to him. What's happening? It's like Looney Tunes, man.
What I was about to say. It's some Animaniacs, dude. It's crazy.
And then Hogan double chops Jerry Flynn on the shoulders, and he goes through the floor.
Great Khalid style, man. Double chop. He goes through like 7 flights, like 7 floors. Just doom, 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 doom. And he goes, doesn't he say something like, this is bad architecture or something like that? He said some kind of pun like that, which is funny because they're at an architecture like building.
Talk about cheap construction.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, because that's the pun that that's where the guy works. So,
well, Taker, he does like a Wizard of Oz tap of his boots together and powers up and does a big diving.
Hits a Raiden.
Yeah.
Hadouken. Or what was it? What did Raiden used to say? I don't remember. But yeah, he'd shoot across the screen at you. Yeah.
Yeah, through the wall there, and they go to the floor. They go into like some office area, and Taker stands up and he's got Post-it notes all over his face, and he's got thumbtacks in his mouth, and he just spits a bunch of thumbtacks at Hogan, and they go.
I
like,
thought
all
it was
around his head.
Is it thumbtacks? Okay.
I might have been
bullets from his.
Oh, okay.
All of his guns he had on, or the bullets he had on his chest.
I thought they were like in that office supply room. I thought he had thumbtacks. So
I think it's bullets because he's like, it's very Elmer Fudd-ish. He's like, when he shoots them out, like it's like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. They're all around like Hogan's head. Like, it's so crazy. We're about to get even more Bugs Bunny in just a second here. When
it
Taker
reminds me
exits
of
the room.
When he faced Quang, and Quang spit the mist at him, and Taker swallowed it and spit it back at him. Same idea.
Jeez.
Well, Taker gives Hogan a clothesline here, and then he goes to stab him with his knife.
Yeah.
But, Shep hits that little magic button on Taker's boots and says, for a big guy, you're awfully light on your feet, and sends Taker, he goes up through the ceiling through 30 floors. It seems
Yeah.
like we cut to him multiple times and he's still
Yeah.
shooting up the ceiling.
And he
And
shoots up so high, he winds up in a toilet. His head comes up underneath the toilet.
Taker winds up in the ladies' restroom, which is, he
He
has
does.
opinions on men being in women's restrooms, so he's
Yeah.
probably not too happy about that.
Exactly.
And Shep tells him, have a nice flight, camel breath, which is an incredible insult.
I mean, but it had no
No context.
there's no context for that comment. No one had ever referenced a camel. No one had said anything about anyone's breath. There's no running gag. It just have a nice flight, camel breath.
Camel breath.
I love it.
Dude,
I mean,
if someone hits you with camel breath, dude, that's a deep cut, dude.
it's like he had that left over from his feud with the Iron Sheik or something.
Absolutely.
He just brought it out of his pocket.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you just can't get rid of some of this stuff. It's just in your DNA.
Well, Jerry Flynn comes back up, and this is where we get the elevator callback, like you talked about.
Oh yeah, are they in the bottom of the elevator shaft?
Yeah,
I think him and Hogan, and then I forgot how the elevator break? Oh, does he?
I'm
pull
not
it?
even sure. Yeah,
Somehow the elevator shaft breaks or the line breaks, and it falls, and then it falls on Jerry Flynn and just murders him.
Dead, crushes him dead.
Yeah.
But Taker is able to get out of the restroom with the toilet on his head, and this is where Shep, we got to have a wrestling call back in here. He goes, "What is this? A tag team?"
Yeah.
And then the most infamous part for us here on Talking Taker, this is where the Undertaker, aka Hutch, delivers his one line of dialogue. Him and the other bounty hunter have been silent this entire movie, and Taker delivers a very appropriate line for him. He says, "You're a dead man, Ramsey." But how would you describe how that line comes out of his mouth, Travis?
You're a dead man, Ramsey.
Perfect. Nailed it.
It's obviously like a little child's voice, which is so funny.
What a bizarre joke, man.
There's no context for it to be that. There's no reason for it to be like that. It's just there. It's funny though. I love it.
I mean, I feel like we've talked about some legitimately funny jokes here, but that one is just like it doesn't even make sense.
Why?
Man.
Yeah.
Such a weird joke. And Ramsey goes, "No wonder you guys never talk." Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sure it was. And I do remember being shocked by it the first time I saw it. Like now I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's a bizarre moment there, and obviously kills all of his aura.
Yeah.
But Taker taps his boots together again, and they get on
no place like home.
They get onto some rolling cart there in the office. They start again like Bugs Bunny, like flying in circles. Like this film speeds up, and they're just going super fast. And Hogan gets off the cart, sends Taker back on it, and he goes flying through the wall, like you said, Bugs Bunny style. Like there's an imprint of his body in the wall.
But it's clearly, it's like my size, your size. It's a very small person compared to the body size of Hutch.
Yes,
not even remotely resemble his body. But yeah, it's a little Wile E. Coyote in the wall, and he's gone through. So I guess he's
Shep
dead.
says, "Game over, you lose." Which again, I think is supposed to be a pun, but again, it doesn't really.
They weren't playing a video game.
No, there's no reference to it. Really. Okay, so they've done this fight. Christopher Lloyd is now begging Shep to hang out on Earth for a little while, see the world instead of saving the world the whole time. But Shep's like, "No, I got to go back to my home planet." And so Christopher Lloyd says. He sends Christopher Lloyd to go make sure he has all of his traceable devices before he gets back on his ship. I guess, I don't think they ever say here, but I guess he's just going to steal the other bounty hunter ship. That's where he ends up in at the end of the movie, but they don't ever actually make that clear that that's what he's going to do, because his other ship is destroyed at this point. But before he gets to the house, someone is back to spying on his family, and it's General Suter from the beginning of the movie that we thought was dead.
Yeah, we thought it blew up in the very first scene of the movie, but it turns out he's not. He's somehow tracked him down, and there he is in suburbia.
Yep, and he is going to force Christopher Lloyd to lead him to Shep. So they come back to the warehouse, and Shep is inside, and he's going to try to act like he doesn't care about Christopher Lloyd and the family there, and try to get them to get away. But General Suter calls his bluff. He's like, I saw you have a picture with them. I know you care about them. And he's basically holding them hostage here.
How did
And
he take a picture, develop it on roll of film in a day? How did he find time to do that?
yeah, in
In a day?
1991. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He
guess they
had it.
had 1 hour photo back then.
I guess, yeah, but even that was sketchy. Like, maybe it was a Polaroid.
I don't know. Um, well, we hear Hogan utter those infamous words from the beginning of the movie, and someone should pull this quote and frame it for Hulk Hogan. Sometimes you got to lose to win. He listens to that advice here,
Mm-hmm.
and he sets the ship to self-destruct, and then offers himself up as a sacrifice, basically, and tells the family to get away, and Christopher Lloyd takes them away to safety, but says he has to go back and help his buddy Shep, that he's known for 2 days at this
Mm-hmm.
point.
Best friends.
And then Suter is just kind of teasing Hogan with these lasers. He's like, "What is he
Yeah,
doing?"
he's shooting all around him because every villain, no villains in any movies can ever just kill the guy. They have to
No.
reveal their plan before they kill them, which that's not how it works in the real world. But anyway, yes, he's like shooting. He'll miss him on his left, miss him on the right, shoot above him. It's like I thought he was just a stormtrooper, from Star Wars. They have terrible aim, but yeah, I think he's missing him on purpose, just toying with him as he's revealing his evil plan.
Yes, and they even mentioned that, like Hogan's like, are you gonna shoot me, or are you just gonna bore me with your plan?"
Yeah, which is
Um,
exactly what we're saying at home.
Christopher Lloyd drives into the building, tries to run over Suter, and he hits a Death Valley blow on General Suter, and that causes Suter to shed his human skin and turn into a legitimately terrifying
Yeah,
monster. Dude, whatever budget this
I was gonna
movie
say the
had
same thing.
was spent on this suit. Did you think this was as terrifying as I did?
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. Like the prosthetics were excellent. We forgot to mention very first scene. Somebody throws something at him and his hand like gets chopped off and this
Yeah.
alien hand grows through and he chokes a guy. So that's how we.
So they
This is the
did tease
call.
that
They
earlier.
teased it. So yeah, now he gives him a low blow and somehow his hand falls off and his this alien hand grows through. And then the whole budget of the film, all the special effects is all built right here. It's basically a xenomorph from Alien and a Predator put together, is what I would say. It's like a merger of both of them. And it's honestly, I like practical effects in my space movies.
Me
It
too.
looked really good. It looked really good.
And it felt so out of place for this
Absolutely.
low budget movie. Like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Like, it's legitimately impressive.
Yeah. I hope that suit is somewhere still.
Yeah, use it in some other movie.
He's also 9 feet tall now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He went from 5'6" to 9 feet tall alien predator thing.
Well, he just starts to destroy Shep here, but Shep ends up electrocuting him with and some funky disco music starts playing as he does it.
Oh,
Like,
it's from the place that he crash landed. Yeah, when he first comes in, turns the generator on
yeah,
and all the music, and he pulls the plug or whatever. So yeah, he uses that. The place reminded me of the Foot Clan's hangout in Turtles.
yeah, you could
movie.
say that. And then the rest of the budget, whatever was not spent on the alien, was spent on this building exploding. Like a
Yeah.
massive fireball. Unbelievable. Um,
Oh.
Shep is able to escape as the alien blows up. The wife and kids are celebrating with Christopher Lloyd. And we do get one more scene back at the architecture building with Larry Miller, who's been up all night with the investors. Again, he's just funny every time he's on screen. Christopher Lloyd quits his job and whacks him
Mm-hmm.
on the head with the
Mm-hmm.
blueprints. Um, we see
What are you gonna do now, Charlie? I don't know. I'll figure it out. Yeah,
he's been inspired. You know,
he has.
his life's been
If
changed.
you don't lose, you win. Or what? If
You got to
sometimes you
lose
gotta
to
lose
win.
to win. Yeah,
There you go.
that sounds like a
Um,
Garth Brooks song from this era.
it could be. Oh man, I could imagine him doing the soundtrack.
I'm
Um,
in.
then Shep Ramsey for the final scene of the movie. He's in the outfit of the century, dude. This blue spandex, multicolor Zubaz, black Converse with
Chuck E.
orange
Cheese.
laces,
Yeah.
dude. Where did this come from? How cool
So,
did he look?
he looked so good.
So
He looked
good.
great. I want to wear that to Royal Rumble.
I will pay for it. If you wear it, I'll pay for it.
Electric blue tank top, rainbow like zebra Zubas, and then Chuck E. Cheese with some orange laces.
He hasn't been dressed. He's been wearing like denim and like
Yeah.
construct like or flannel or like cool
Yeah.
guys stuff. Like
Yeah.
he hasn't been dressed like this at all.
This is like they called him off of like a workout, like in
Oh
real
man.
life, probably. Yeah, and then he gets on the skateboard again. The little skateboard bullies
Yeah. Call
bother
back with the
him.
skateboard, call back with the cat in the tree, all that.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah, this time he flings the girl instead of the cat. He
yep.
flings the girl out the tree. Yeah.
Then he shows up. They meet again on somewhere on the top of some skyscraper with the spaceship that's ready to go. And Christopher Lloyd and Shelley Duvall and the kids are there to say goodbye. And who's in the spaceship with Shep?
Oh, Bonnie or whatever the secretary's name was with the gun. Yeah, she's in the ship with him, and she like comes in the doorway, and they're kind of like hubba hubba, like what's going on?
They
Yeah,
might as well have said that.
yeah, it was wild. She's gonna go with him to outer space and whatever his next adventure is. So, yeah, she has quite the character arc in this movie.
Really, truly.
Yeah.
I mean,
She went
I'd
from
like
nice little like stewardess or whatever, a secretary, to gun toting vandal to leaves with the good guy. So yeah.
And
But then
yeah,
like
they
having
say
this
their
heartfelt
goodbyes.
goodbye, it's
Mhm.
always like, and I was like in my head said, it's been 40 hours. Like they're like you and I've been best friends for a long time, but like there's guys I've lived in Kingsport for 10 years, and there are guys I've known for 10 years. I'm not this close with.
Yeah,
It's like I would like to be, but it's like this guys got real close in 3 days.
they did. They did.
So
Chef's big thing is he doesn't like to say goodbye, and he does say goodbye here. And
yeah.
off to his next adventure, and then yeah, we see the new and improved Christopher Lloyd driving down the road in his car with a door torn off of it
Mm-hmm.
now, and he takes out a gun and shoots a traffic light.
Mm-hmm. Got to be a felony or something.
Gotta be a felony
Something.
to end this movie.
Yeah.
And that's it. Fade to black with the most incredible soundtrack playing again in the background. 90 minutes of a pure cinematic masterpiece.
Yes. It was something.
It flew by.
It did. It really did. Because it's 90 minutes, but that's with credits, so it's
That's
probably
with the
only
credits.
80 minutes. Honestly. So yeah, it it made me laugh, and I am roll my eyes, but not in like I hate this, but in like this is what we came here for. This is what we came here for. So thank you. Glad we pulled it off. Thank you to Tubi for having this for free. You got to
Yeah.
watch some ads every now and then, but it's fine. I didn't mind an ad to break up the
No,
cheese.
didn't mind it at all.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it was released October 4th, 1991. Had an opening weekend of $1.9 million at the box office, which opened up at number 8 in the top 10, which is never what you want to see for a big movie.
No. Opening weekend, you don't want to be number 8.
The Fisher King was the number 1 movie in the country that
I don't know what
weekend.
that is.
Total gross of $8 million on a budget of $11 million.
So flop.
A pretty big flop there. Tough to lose money right with a movie like that.
Probably because of that prosthetics for the alien at the
That's
end.
where the $11 million went.
Yeah.
The top five movies of 1991 were Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Home Alone, Silence of the Lambs, and City Slickers. So some heavy hitters there in
Dang.
1991. Dances with Wolves was right behind those. So pretty great,
Mm,
great movie
good
year.
year.
This movie was 125th out of all movies released in
I
1990.
told you it's one of the movies of all time. Yeah, it is one of them.
The director was a guy named Burt Kennedy, and basically he made a bunch of westerns, like classic 60s, 70s westerns, and then this movie.
Hmm.
Um, Only one I really knew was one called Support Your Local Sheriff, which is kind of a famous title of a western. But yeah, that's what he's known for. And then he does this weird Hulk Hogan movie. Um, the
Do anything
writer,
else?
no, well, he made like a couple of other just random things that I
Hmm.
hadn't heard of.
Interesting.
The writer's name was Frank Capello, and he had a bunch of credits, but the only one I recognized was the 2005 movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves.
Dang. Dang.
Not really a
Man, isn't it
classic.
Shia LaBeouf in that too?
I don't know.
I
Is
think
he?
that's Shia LaBeouf.
It
Is
might
his
be.
cab driver, taxi
Oh,
driver. I'm gonna
okay.
look it up right now.
So we talked about the Terminator comparisons and everything. I did read that a script was originally developed for Arnold Schwarzenegger and for Danny DeVito to play the Christopher Lloyd role, but instead they
Hmm.
opted to do the movie Twins instead of this one, which was
Hey.
probably a good decision.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you can
Shia
just
LaBeouf and
okay.
Desmond Hisu and Rachel Weisz all in that movie with Keanu Reeves. So
I knew
good
Rachel
cast.
Weisz, yeah.
Yeah. Good cast.
Um,
Good cast.
Yeah, you could tell this is trying to be a Schwarzenegger movie of that era. They're
Yes.
going for Kindergarten Cop and that sort of vein in there. And yeah, they had to settle for the Hulkster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, probably a good thing those guys dodged that bullet. So
The I did read, I don't know if there's truth to this, but I did read that there was originally some talks to sort of do a no holds barred style storyline with Mark Calloway here and to possibly use this in the feud with Hulk Hogan. But once they really developed that Undertaker character, they decided to not go that direction. But they think this movie was already in the works and shooting before that happened. So I think they had thought about using it in that way, and we really dodged a bullet in
yeah.
that case.
Now that's a question I have. When was this came out in October '91? So was Taker in WWE when he filmed this?
I
Because he debuted in November
believe
of
it was
'90, right?
shot kind of right in that time period, right before he debuted,
But
if I'm not
would he have
mistaken.
been on under contract, you think, or no? Still down in
He either would have been under contract or like right in between,
okay.
I
Because
think.
see, I remember, and I read it today too. I remember, and this is Hogan being Hogan, and I don't think he means this in a bad way. I think it's just how he remembers the past. He was saying that he got this script or whatever, and he was like, I remember like we needed another big guy. We didn't have one, and I remember seeing this mean Mark Callis working for golly, he said George Barnett, but it was not George Barnett. It would have been Ole Anderson, you know, down in WWE, WCW. And he said, I remember that guy. And so we all had Vince call him up and got him on set here. And I told him, you know, Vince was telling me he had his character for The Undertaker. And he's like, I think you need to use this guy. And I was like, I think that's what Hogan thinks happened. I don't think he means it maliciously, but that definitely is
Right.
not what happened. But
No, I don't think
I
so.
just couldn't remember if he was actually in the company or not yet. So
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm not sure
I couldn't
exactly.
find a filming like
Yeah, me
history of
either.
it. I don't think that there's a lot of demand for that information other than
No,
you
there's
and
not a
me.
lot of special features or commentary on the
Yeah.
DVD. Um, I did read sadly that a special effects technician named Michael Colvin was killed on the visual effects shoot when he fell through a trap door while testing it, which is a tragedy at all
Yikes.
times, but truly a tragedy for this movie, for someone to
Yeah.
give their life for this movie is
Right.
truly
That's
heartbreaking.
terrible.
Um,
That's terrible.
Hulk did do some press work for this movie in full costume, in the Suburban Commando outfit on the Arsenio Hall show and on an episode of Primetime
I think
Wrestling.
that's what I remember.
Find that on
Yeah.
YouTube. It's fun to see. Sort of like Cena doing it in the Peacemaker costume.
Yeah.
Um, did you play the video game, Travis? There was a video game.
I don't know if I did. I can't recall the game.
Probably
No.
not, because it was released on DOS and on Commodore 64. So you
Then
probably did not.
no, didn't have that.
It was released in 1993.
Commodore
2
64 is
years
really neato.
after this.
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years after the movie.
That's crazy, man.
But you can find some
Why?
clips of it. You can see some footage of it out there on the internet. It's pretty insane.
That's crazy.
And then lastly, I just want to steal a gimmick from one of my other favorite podcasts. It's not the cat on the screen, but I love a podcast called How Did This Get Made, where they talk about bad movies, and they like to read 5-star reviews from Amazon for these movies. So I found some 5-star reviews of Suburban Commando from Amazon. Give us a little perspective here. Some second opinions is what they call them.
Okay.
This one is from Run Bay from December 4th, 2011. It's titled Shows the Hulkster as He Truly Is. I love this movie. Like the famous commercial for Gillette Right Guard deodorant, anything else would be uncivilized. It shows Hulk Hogan's sweet side. I recently read the final chapters of Hogan's biography, My Life Outside the Ring, and found my suspicions about his real nature were delightfully confirmed. After a very difficult life involving a painful marriage, divorce, lawsuit, and vilification by a drooling press, CNN played a nasty role. The Hulkster emerged with a new, positive attitude. His inner goodness triumphed. It's an impressive, inspiring book, by the way. Where was I? Oh, yes. Suburban Commando shows the funny,
Yeah, what?
irrepressibly upbeat, life-loving side of Hogan. Whether he's rescuing a kitten from a tree, dealing with white trash neighbors in their boat, or fighting inner space bounty hunters, it's all done with humor and a wonderfully cheerful tongue-in-cheek spirit. A classic of the big guy as a likable nice guy genre. E.g. Arnold's Kindergarten Cop. 5
Yep.
stars. I think Hulk
5
may have written
stars.
that one himself.
Yeah, right.
Deborah Graham wrote back in April of 2014, great movie from my childhood. Of course, it's tacky and hokey, but it's still as enjoyable as when I was 4. This is easily the sweatiest role Christopher Lloyd has ever done.
Hey.
The music is very early 90s. If you like the original TMNT movie, you'll dig this. 5 stars.
5 stars. Out of 5?
Out of 5, yeah.
I mean, I can't take those people seriously.
This one is test driven by a 12-year-old. My 12-year-old nephew saw this movie recently and absolutely loved it. He has no idea who Hulk Hogan is, and I don't think he's even aware there's a WrestleMania phenomenon, or whatever it's called, but he thought the jokes, gags, and situations were pretty darn funny. If you look at the reviews, you'll see that the only bad ones come from stuffy, crotchety old adults. There isn't a single kid in the known universe who won't like this movie. Kids know this movie is cool. If you want something to entertain a party of kids, this is it.
That's a big statement.
Can you imagine, just putting this movie on for someone who doesn't know who Hulk Hogan is, and then B, you got a bunch of kids around. What do you got? I got a perfect movie for you kids.
Yeah. Suburban Commando.
This one's from T, from June 2013.
Oh, that's me.
Saw this movie once and so happy to find it on DVD. Husband and I loved watching this movie years ago. It's cheap laughs, which we love. If you like just watching a movie without picking it to death, this one is great. So if you can't figure out what to pick, you always just land on Suburban Commando.
That's right. That's right. Netflix ain't doing it for you. Hop on over to Tubi. Oh my goodness, cat.
And then let's see. C. Sorensen said, I ordered this as a Christmas gift that was never able to be given. So I opened it up and had a movie night with friends. I am in no way saying this is an award-winning movie with award-winning performances, but it does include a star-studded cast and plenty of corny jokes that are so indicative of the time period. My friends and I had an amazing time rewatching this nostalgic classic. So I just want to know the story here with why was she not able to give that as a Christmas gift? What
Maybe
happened?
she got it for somebody that she hated, and then she decided they were friends.
What
So
happened? Did someone pass away and she just had to open up
right,
Suburban Commando?
yeah, that's crazy.
And then this last one, this was kind of a common thing from a lot of these reviews. Brad Vickers said, Christopher Lloyd and Shelley Duvall never fail to impress, and throw in a few wrestlers in a universal fight on Earth and a funny finale handicap match at the end between Jake the Snake and The Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan. What are the odds? So a lot of people in the comments think the other bounty hunter is Jake the Snake
Is
Roberts,
Jake?
apparently.
Oh no, it's not Jake.
That's pretty clearly not Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I just thought that was
Interesting.
interesting.
It's
Um,
interesting.
what say you, Travis? Would you recommend this to people to watch?
If a normal person, if someone says, what would you recommend? I'm not going to throw this movie out there. But if you're in the
What about a
wrestling,
party of kids?
if you're, no, I'm never going to show this to my kids. So, no, I would say, if you're in the wrestling bubble and you've never seen it, by all means, you must see it. It is must see for a wrestling fan. I do think so. It's just so nostalgic from our childhood, and as just a, I guess, a snapshot of the times of 1991. So early 90s. So it's very neat. But yeah, if you're a wrestling fan, you're in the wrestling bubble, and you've never seen it, absolutely go watch it. If you want to see a good movie, don't watch it.
I do feel like it screams 1991. It
Yeah,
feels very of the era. And man, I had a great time.
yeah,
I recommend it. I do think it's if you look at it just kind of like an absurdist bubble, I think there's, like I said, there's some legitimately funny moments in there, and it doesn't fully work, which is why it's not like an all-time classic or even like an all-time cult classic. It's just
yeah,
so tonally off, and Hulk Hogan is like literally, I know his character's from a different universe, but he's like in a different universe in this movie. But
yeah,
if you're an Undertaker fan, you want to see him in a unique way, I think it's very much worth it. And I'm glad we checked it out and finally kicked it off our Talking Taker bucket list here,
yeah,
7.5 years into it, man. So I appreciate you indulging me and indulging everybody out there in the PSK.
yeah. I had a better time watching it and retelling it than I thought I would. So it's fun. It's fun.
Well, we would love to hear what you think, folks. Did you rewatch it here to discuss it with us? Do you have favorite memories of it? Do you give it a 5-star review? Leave us a comment here on the YouTube video or on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, wherever you might be listening. Be sure you are subscribed and give us a 5-star rating. And make sure you are following us on social media at Talking Taker on all the different social media platforms. We're continuing to post all new stuff on there, and we try to interact with you as much as we can, and we appreciate that. I want to shout out one of our listeners, Mark Short, who commented on our YouTube video a few weeks ago. Said he just completed watching our entire YouTube catalog. So,
Whoa.
a round of applause, kudos to you, and thank you to you. It's always exciting when we hear somebody has gone through the archives and has caught up with us. So that is super thrilling, and we appreciate that, man. That's some true fandom and true loyalty.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That means a lot. That's cool. Very cool.
Uh, Everybody out there, I hope you have caught up on our bonus content that we released in the month of December. Had count them, two bonus shows. Uh,
Two count.
Kind of making up for that month I missed from the Hurricane Helene. I had Tommy on the spot on the show to
Thoughts.
talk about The Undertaker on Saturday night's main event from 1992. Did a watch along for his matchup there with teaming with Ric Flair against Hulk Hogan and Sid
Did you
Justice.
say Timu Ric Flair?
With Timu Ric Flair.
So that's this guy's Timu Jake the Snake in this movie.
Who would be Timu Ric Flair? Who do you think?
MJF. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I like MJF. I'm just kidding. Timu Ric Flair. That's a good one.
Have to
That's good.
marinate on that.
Yeah, I can't. Top of my brain on that one.
Triple H in 2003.
Yeah, right. Jindrak, 2003.
Um, and then
Didn't he kind of do that down in Mexico? Wasn't that kind of his thing, Jindrak?
wow,
He's like a
I think
big
so.
deal.
Yeah, yeah, it's a deep cut.
Let's go with Mark Jindrak. Timu Ric Flair.
Um, and of course, encourage you to check out Tommy's YouTube channel. He went to
Yeah.
this year's Saturday Night's Main Event reboot, and of course,
Run,
posted
Forrest,
his
run.
blog from that. Um, and did another bonus show with Randy Turco and Steven Zeman, recapping the year in collecting Dead Man, all the various action figures and toys and bobbleheads and buddies and everything that came out. Great YouTube watch. We go through pictures of everything on there. You can also
Yeah, that
listen to
was
the
helpful.
podcast as well.
That was helpful to see the stuff you were talking about. I didn't know what a Fuco was. Faco
Foco
was.
bobblehead.
I thought you were making that up, like just call like a like Folkleys, fake Oakleys. I thought you
No,
were calling it like a Foco,
that's
but
legit.
that's legit what it's called. So that was helpful.
Um,
Yeah, I can't contribute to those. I don't collect any of that stuff. So,
exactly. Yeah, but
yeah,
maybe it enticed you to get something.
I did, but it's very cool.
You do have something to open up though
I
to add to your
do
collection. If you want to do that,
right here.
it is. I did get you two things, but they ship separately, and one is probably gonna get there after Christmas. But
Oh, that's fine.
here's one item you received.
Yes, here's one. So I actually saw I had my name on it, and I went to open it, and I was like, "Wait a minute! I didn't order anything from there." So I did not open what is actually in it. So I'm excited to pull it out. So I will be revealing that at this moment.
Oh, it's
Drum roll,
very
please.
revealing. Yes.
Is it? Oh my word! Oh, Taker boxers. Can we see that? There he is.
Yeah,
There he is.
that's something for
Oh
Jenny
my
to look
word!
at. Something for her to get excited to see.
Jeez, contender.
Well,
Taker
Hulk Hogan
boxers.
Shep Ramsey stole everybody's boxers, so
He did.
something for you to
Dang.
wear.
Should I put these on right now? I'm just kidding.
Please, yeah,
That's on the Patreon.
save them for the Rumble, man.
Dude, thanks. These are excellent. I'm excited about these. Let's get them out of the package.
Maybe-
Unboxing.
Hopefully, they're better than Manscaped.
Oh, I want Manscaped right now. Oh, the back says the Phenom.
That should be on the front.
Big Show. Big Show's pants. Yes, sir. These are great.
Oh,
I never
Merry
had these
Christmas.
purple underwear. So.
Well, make sure to wash them with the colors, not with the whites. Okay, you don't want that happening.
all my underwear are colored, so they're all black.
All right.
So, yeah.
Merry
Thanks,
Christmas.
dude.
Another one coming, so maybe we'll open that on the next one.
Oh, it's going to be the bikini cut.
Hey-o.
Thank you, sir. I'm excited about that. Wear those tomorrow.
Speaking of the Rumble, of course, we're going to be going to the Rumble, but we'll have another episode out before then. I think should be while we're traveling. It should be released on February 1st. And we'd usually do something Rumble themed. We're kind of out of Rumbles to watch, but
for Ready too. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that might be even better idea. I was gonna say it's been a long time since we talked about this. Maybe we should give him another chance. It's been it'll be the 30-year anniversary of the Undertaker's Royal Rumble singles match with my mortal enemy himself, IRS, Erwin R. Shyster. And I just tortured you by watching Suburban Commando. Maybe we should punish me by making us watch Undertaker and IRS and giving him a second shot. Yeah.
Okay.
For that.
We can do that.
And maybe we can squeeze in the 95 Rumble right behind it because it's very short. It's the one where it's just 60-second entries.
Yeah, it's like 20-second intervals.
And it's always fun to talk Rumble. So we might do something like that for our Royal Rumble themed episode. Since we are going to the Rumble, of course, we ought to do something Rumble themed. So you can look for that February 1st. And of course, we shout out our friends. We shouted out Tommy already. Of course, Mike Prue and JV from the Bottom Line Wrestling Podcast. If you they haven't had a new episode recently, but of course they got the full archives going through Stone Cold's career. And did he debut at the end of '95?
I believe so. Yeah.
So like next year will be the 30-year anniversary of Stone Cold coming into the WWF. So
yeah, that's
a great
wild.
time to revisit his career. right there with
Maybe
Bottom
he'll
Line
show
Wrestling
back up on
Cast.
WWE TV somehow.
Maybe he
He
will.
hasn't been around since WrestleMania with Kevin Owens. Weird.
uh, and then lastly, I just want to say, we talked about Suburban Commando, and I mentioned this to you a couple days ago. The guy who gave me this DVD is a friend of ours by the name of Josh, and we got some sad news over the weekend that our buddy Josh passed away unexpectedly, and he has been. We've mentioned him on this podcast many times. He went with us. He was a big part of our lives and our crew for many years. He went with us to December to Dismember and
Yeah.
Backlash and WrestleMania 27. He went with us to wrestling school for a little short run
Yeah.
there.
The Raw in Nashville we were at with Shatner. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He was there with us too for that. So yeah.
And yeah, man, just want to pay our respects to him. And I think we've mentioned like he listened to some episodes and gave us some comments on them back in the day as well. And just a great friend to us, and so many great memories we had with him. And we will miss him.
Yep. Rest in peace, Gibbzilla.
Yeah, absolutely. So just want to send that out. That's not going to mean anything to anybody else, but I just wanted to mention him and pay our respects.
For sure. Well, that being said, I'll wrap her up here. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Festivus, all the things. Happy New Year. Yeah, at this point, let's see. Do we know? Or Takers, yeah, his
I think they're
Longhorns.
playing on New Year's Day. Or
I
New
know
Year's
my
Eve.
Bulldogs
One
are
of
playing.
them.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, they're playing New Year's Day. So they'll be playing today. If you're listening to when this comes out, I don't know why you would be because you write stuff to do on New Year's Day with your family. We hope you're listening today. It comes out, and yeah, we'll see if the Texas Longhorns make it, if Taker's boys make it, or if my Bulldogs make it through. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, Happy New Year to you guys. We're excited for 2025. Hope you had a great 2024. And as always, we can't see it. Dang. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's a little demon guy. Take her easy.